Alright, due to popular demand, I am putting audio commentary into this video for this battle. Normally I do sort of a cinematic view. This will be more of a strategic view. I'll stay more zoomed out instead of zooming in for dramatic effect. Okay, so first off, I'm going to pause it. Let's look at the army situation here. Alright, I go with my standard setup. I have a bow Ashigaru, a matchlock Ashigaru, and a bow samurai. Pretty standard for me. 2 Yari cavalry here on the flanks. Then my solid infantry line consists of 2 Yari spears and 6 katana samurai. On the other side, we have 3 bows, 2 of them samurais. What looks like 5 cavalry units, mostly Yari, with a couple lights. For his infantry, he has 4 spears. 3 of them are Yari. Excuse me, 2 of them are Yari spears and 2 of them are Yari samurai. And then 3 katana samurai. Excuse me, 2 katana samurai and 1 Nodachi samurai. Now I was kind of expecting him to move here towards the workshop, which is the best capturable building in my opinion. So I moved my missile troops over here to this ridge to kind of cover it. Now we seem to be both gravitating towards this little gully here with the river. And that's important because they're blocked on these sides by ridges that you cannot move on. So it makes a nice little choke point here. And that is extremely important for how the battle plays out. Now, I thought he was going to come around and take the workshop from around here, but he does not. So soon I will begin shifting my forces. My infantry gets in place across the river. He's moving his missile troops out. I realize that he's going to start skirmishing with them. So I move my cavalry into position to chase him off just before my missile units come out to meet them. So cavalry goes out, chases him off. Archers move into place. Infantry line is solid, ready to advance. The spears move up too because of the cavalry. I'm expecting his cavalry to make an attack, so I bring the spears up to the front just to kind of scare him off. Now the missile units are coming together. There's the side of the river. And they're shooting back and forth. I'm just going to skirmish a little bit, try and take out his ranged units. I hate ranged units. I always try and neutralize them as soon as possible and just get him out of the fight. I really don't like him shooting on my guys. I'm moving up the matchlocks here to get a couple shots off. In the end, matchlock units aren't very good, but I find that they make very good bait. Whenever I bring them up, they attract so much attention, and they ended up covering the other units because they just keep getting, so much focused on. Look at that, they're already down to 2/3 of their strength. Cavalry's coming out to chase them back. Now I'd like to comment on this part right here, so I'll pause it. Now we both set up on either side of this river with these ridges here that are making the choke point. Now I always assume that I'm going to be the one attacking, as it is in this video. So he thinks he's probably being smart right here. He's going to set up his infantry here on this choke point and defend a choke point, right? That's obvious. You have a choke point, you defend it, you set your troops up, and just kind of fight it out. But let's think about this for a second. Why would you defend a choke point? When is that useful? Well, you think, I have superior infantry, I can neutralize his numbers and bring him on a choke point where the numbers won't matter and I can just grind him down. But his army composition is not built for holding a choke point. Now he has a lot of spears, and you think of spears as being defensive units, right? But they're really not grinded out infantry like the katanas are. That's why the main bulk of my army is katanas. I need that power that can just stand and fight for long periods of time. In this game, people can rout at the drop of the hat. You need people that can stand and fight. So I bring katanas. This guy's bringing a lot of Yari, and especially this, a Nodachi samurai. It's not the unit you want to bring along when you're holding a choke point, because they're extremely offensive. They're really only good in charges. They cannot stand and fight worth a darn. Another big problem with that strategy for him is his army has a lot of cavalry, like 5 units. I believe they already went off and hid. So here's his cavalry. If he was going to focus so much on cavalry, he should have brought it back. He should have put his army around here somewhere so he can maneuver his cavalry and hit my back. At the choke point, he can't use his cavalry. There's just no room for him. And cavalry definitely do not do very well at standing and fighting. It's about the worst unit you can have. Sometimes ends up working in my favor. This choke point's actually going to work out pretty good for me. So I could have stood in skirmish for a while, decided not to, so I move up to get him to move his missiles back so I can get him in transition. When the missiles are moving, they won't be firing, obviously. So I try and get him to push back, bringing up my cavalry, bringing up my forces. Match like Ashigaru taking a lot of punishment, but they're kind of the punchy bags of my army, so they're just going to have to deal with it. Only 22 of them left out of 120. Yeah, they're gone since the shattered. But it doesn't matter, because they bought a lot of time for my infantry, who's hardly taking any casualties due to the match like Ashigaru. Bravely stepping up and taking the arrows for everybody else. So here comes my advance. I keep all my infantry in a single control group unless I need to detach the spears to deal with the cavalry. Now I know he's got cavalry hiding in these trees. He already moved them. I don't think he saw it in the camera. But I'm going to get a huge cavalry charge from the flank. So the spears are definitely moving over to the right. Katanas are moving up on the left, just so they can engage and just grind it out. That's what they're there for. That's what they're good at. Spears moving up. Everything's going well. Now, when I'm charging, I set my guys to run towards a point behind their lines, and then once that's set, I individually order them all in the individual attacks. Alright, here comes his horses. No problem. My horses go and meet him too. My spears are there. I mean, this guy has no chance. He's going to get no good charge off. He's not going to be able to attack my flanks. He's just going to get stuffed right here by my spears. That's exactly what happens. Samurai and an Ashigaru. One of my Yari Samurai kind of got stuck here by a Yari Ashigaru, but he has help from these katanas. I mean, that'll be no problem. They're already shaken. We already have some routing over here. Look at that, a Bow Ashigaru. Don't know what he was doing there. But their cavalry is completely stuffed. I have this cavalry here on reserve. Now, it's always a good idea to keep reserves. You don't want to push your entire force into attack right away, unless they're spread very thin. And he was spread pretty thin in this battle, so I did send everybody up in one charge. It's not normally what I do. I usually have them in a double line. First line goes first, second line fills in wherever they're needed. Now I see a hole here, and I bring my Yari cavalry behind him. Bad news for him. I'm going to have to go and charge their general, right? We have some wavering here. They start sensing some units behind them. That's when they rout. See ya, Katana Samurai. That was a unit of 83 Katana Samurai. This unit of 83 Katana Samurai just routed that unit of 120 Katana Samurai. Now, why is that? Even though I style myself as an attacker, I believe the most important thing is defense. Actually, I'll get to that in a second. I want to point out that he did have a unit of Yari Ashigaru come around the back to hit my missile units. No big deal, though. The Bow Samurai and all the archers are going to gang up on him right there. Take care of him. Back to what I was saying. Defense is the most important thing in this game, I believe, even when you're attacking. All my veteran units get defensive upgrades first, every single one of them. Both the spearmen, the cavalry, the infantry. You gotta keep your guys alive if you're gonna grind it out. And on maps where there are capturable buildings, I always take the workshop, the defensive buff first. Always, always, always. It's the best one. I didn't take it here because taking it would put me in a very bad position. And I'd rather fight him at this choke point. It ended up working out great for me. That was the perfect place for me to fight. I couldn't have asked for a better spot to fight. And he thought it was a great defensive position. But as Sun Tzu says, you gotta know yourself and know your enemy. And with his army composition, that choke point was not a good place for him to be. It was perfect for me. Worked out perfectly. He couldn't use his cavalry. That was his main strength. And his infantry just isn't suited for holding a choke point and just grinding it out. My units crushed him. Can't believe his general didn't die earlier. I had my missile units shooting at his general, trying to kill him, and then he brought him into melee, and he still wouldn't die. That's just how the game goes, I guess. Sometimes I lose my general in really stupid circumstances, sometimes not. That's just how it goes. And his army's basically, it's gone now. This battle's over. In fact, it was over before it was even started. You know, I had this win wrapped up before they even clashed. It was over. And this battle is essentially over. It's trying to regroup, but I'll put it at triple speed now just to speed things along. Alright, that's how I handled that battle. See you guys on the battlefield.